Hello everyone, Tomas here. Today I'm excited to bring you a video about repairing this Lima FP45 locomotive. I've had this locomotive for like 4 or 5 years now, and I've always really liked it. It looks nice, the molding is nice and crisp. It's just a striking locomotive. The paint scheme is maybe a little fuzzy, but it looks really nice, right? And I got it for only $5 at a train show. So everything seemed great about this on the day I got it. And then when I got home, I was horrified to realize that it doesn't have traction tires. So I was pretty disappointed because this is a pretty cool locomotive, but it basically can only pull 2 cars despite being a big 6-axle diesel locomotive. And that basically meant it just sat in a drawer collecting dust, doing nothing for a couple of years, because I didn't want to go on eBay or whatever website and just try to buy random rubber bands and see what might fit the traction tires, because in a process like that, you're just going to end up wasting a lot of money. I had heard about liquid traction tires, but the idea always sounded kind of ridiculous to me. And this honestly wasn't the forefront of my projects at the time, so I never really pursued it. However, recently I was looking at my shelf of destitution and I decided, well, okay, this has been here forever. Let's see about those liquid traction tires. And after watching a couple videos about the product, I was pretty impressed. So I went ahead and bought some. So basically, we're going to get this thing working properly. It does work. It doesn't work great. It definitely needs a service, but the main problem is that it doesn't have traction tires, which means that it runs all rough and it can't pull. And it's not fun to run. But with this, it might be. So we're going to find out. We're going to also clean the shell, give it a service, do the traction tires, and we're going to hope that it turns into a nice locomotive. Let's do it. All right, so here's the engine. First order of business would be just to remove the shell. It's held on by a couple clips. So using a screwdriver, we can probably just take this off. And there we go. So the shell is pretty dirty, and usually when I do restorations, I like to clean the shell before I do anything so that while I'm working on the mechanism, this can have time to dry. So I'm going to go do that. All right, so next we're going to try to get the motor unit out. I have only taken this apart once in the past, so I don't really remember how to do it. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm wondering if you can just, no, maybe you can. That like comes down a bit, but yeah, now it's not budging. Maybe that's not it, I don't know. So after looking at it more, I realized that what do you call these? The truck covers are held on by screws. So maybe I can at least get to the wheels to clean them. If we just take off these screws. All right, so we have the wheels now. Actually, oh no, this doesn't come out. Almost looks like we could get it out of here if we really try. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, so these wheels are actually like built into the frame. I don't know if you can see that. I'll light over. So you can't actually like pull those out, it seems. That's okay. Seems pretty clean. It's also, yeah, gears turn fine too. I don't know, let's just open up the motor. It's just a pancake motor. Light went off. Let's see what's up inside. All right, we're just gonna carefully try to take this off. I'm noticing that it looks like someone added this wire. That doesn't look stock. Maybe not. I don't know. It's just unusual to see a bare wire on something like this. Like usually there'd be rubber coating, but I digress. All right, so got our brushes there. Just gonna grab those. Looks like the commutator is pretty nasty. Just gonna try to get that out. All right. Keep those springs inside of there for now. Okay, so I think first things first, we're gonna just get some isopropyl alcohol and clean that. All right, that did an okay job, but I think we're gonna have to get out the carbon fiber pen, which is usually much more effective. Yeah, look at that. Much better. Much, much better. All right, that looks pretty good. So, oh, we actually have the gear right here. That's interesting. Oop. Everything looks fine. The commutator, I don't see any broken wires or anything. So I'm gonna put that to the side for now. Put it over here, actually. Then we're going to take a look in here. Our brush springs in there. We don't want to lose those. Just want to get a pair of tweezers and just grab those. All right, so right here I'm just cleaning out the, I guess the bearing down here, because I noticed it was pretty dirty. Yeah, that's quite a bit of dirt. Do this one as well. Trying to just reduce the amount of friction on the motor as much as possible. You can also, I don't want to break these, but I can try to clean these as well. Whatever you call these, the contacts to the brushes. So after looking at things, I've decided that I'm not going to take apart the gears just because they move freely already. And also they're very clean. So there's not really a real reason to take them out and clean them when there's nothing to be cleaned. So we're just gonna reassemble the motor and grease it up, and then we'll get to the traction tires. All right, so now we're gonna give it some power. Yeah, it works fine. Needs oil though. So first we're gonna start with the, I'm not sure what you call this, the Bachmann oil. It's gonna go like that. Well, usually it's better to just do it while it's running. Get the axles. Whoops. This side. Sounds a lot better. Then we're going to probably put some grease on these bigger gears. Yeah. So I have this big clip here that just happens to be able to hold this. So we're gonna grab our grease, get a screwdriver, and just get spreading. Let's see. That's basically all I'm doing. Alright, so while we have this running here, we're going to just clean those wheels. There's not too much torque, unfortunately. Turn it up a bit. What's really important though is that we clean the side of the wheel where there's the traction tires, because we want the liquid traction tires to have a good adhesion, and right now it's hard to make out, but there's quite a bit of dirt in those grooves. I don't know if that's leftover rubber or just carbon buildup, but yeah, it's got to come off. And just to be thorough, I'm going to clean it by hand as well. All right, so next we're going to get the front truck off and clean those wheels, and then we're also going to wash the frame because the decks are pretty dirty. So yeah, let's do that. So for some reason this truck doesn't have screws, but it has clips, so it's going to be a little more finicky to get the cover off. There we go. And that one doesn't want to come out for some reason, but we just want the wheels really. And then we can, oh, there's one of the wheels. Then it looks like there's a, it's hard to make out, but there's like a brass pin in there. I think that just comes out. Or not. Yeah. I don't know about that one. Well, that wire just broke. That's fine. I think this, yeah. So this is just a clip. And then I think this will come out. Maybe, possibly. There we go. There's a little bit of solder on the brass pin that was holding that in. That's kind of cool. It has a spring. Okay, so I say we just get all these plastic parts. There's a contact in here. Get that out. Yes, we can. That's the side. We're gonna take all of our plastic bits, including the frame, which actually we should, okay, we're gonna wash all the plastic pieces, but I just realized we didn't take out the weight. So let's do that. Wow, that is stubborn. Whew. Wow, that scared me. I honestly thought I was going to break that there. Okay, so that should just plop right out. That's a big weight. All right, we're going to stick that over there. Now we have the completely empty frame. And in case you're wondering why we didn't just wash it with the weight, for one, you can see this is rusting, and we don't really want that. But two, if I did that, then there would be a bunch of water stuck in here. That would probably take a very long time to dry. So this is definitely easier. Anyways, let's get to cleaning. All right, so now is the moment of truth. We're going to apply the Bullfrog Snot. So basically, you're supposed to just put it at a low speed. This being a 1970s Lima model, that's going to be pretty tough. So this is about as slow as it can go. Then, just open this. We're going to get a toothpick, and these two wheels have grooves in them. So the directions just say to apply a very fine amount at a time. So we're just going to do that. Oh. See how that looks. Okay, so it says to keep it spinning to make sure it finishes evenly. I don't know. Sure doesn't look even, actually. How can we, Let's see. Yeah, that does not look even. I feel like this would be better with a paintbrush. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna take one of my crappy brushes over here. I'm just gonna use this and see if that helps. I feel like a paintbrush would be a lot better to smooth this out. Let's see. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's just keep trying. Well, I guess it's going on. It's just, it's hard to tell, but it's not very even. I don't know, we're just gonna have to just keep trying. Worst case scenario, we have to take it off and just do it again. Okay, so it doesn't look that bad now, so I'm just going to keep that running. I'm going to try to, going forward, not stop it anymore. And now we're going to do the other wheel. So it seems to be best to start with a cocktail and then smooth it out with a toothpick. I'm just putting my finger here in case the stuff flies into the gears. Don't really want that happening. Alright, so I've applied the Bullfrog Snot completely. It seems relatively even. So the directions say, I believe, to leave it running for 2 hours until it turns dark green. So when that happens, then you have to leave it to dry for even longer. It recommends even overnight, so I may do that, but for now, I'm just going to wait for this to do its magic. Alright, so here we are about 6 hours later. As you can see, the Bullfrog Snot is pretty much completely dry. I think it should be good to go. So, I'm going to just remove these alligator clips. And we're going to get to reassembling everything. Okay, so as you can see, the chassis is back together. The last thing that I need to do is just resolder this wire onto this brass pole, and we should be able to go and test it. So let's do that. All right, that looks pretty good. The last thing I'm going to do is just going to get a little tape and just try to hold this down, because I already know it's going to be a annoyance in the future if I try to service this, and these wires are moving around. And, you know, it just makes things a little tidier, you know? Anyways, let's get the shell on. All right. That looks pretty good. The lighting's not great. There you go. All right, let's get this down to the test track. All right, so here we are on the layout. Let's see if it works. Yes, it does. It takes right off. Huh. So, it seems to be running pretty good. Let's use all the stuff on my layout right now. I just got back from a train show. Yeah, that runs great. I should have documented it, but before, the locomotive was really, really rough when running because of the grooves. Where the traction tires go, it was like, I don't know, it's just behaving strangely on the tracks. But I guess now that it has those grooves filled in, it runs a whole lot smoother. So this locomotive came with these sort of strange knuckle couplers. Let me zoom in on those. I don't know if those are stock, but we're gonna try to couple this up to some of my knuckle coupler cars and see how it runs. All right, so I've set up our FP45 with 5 cars. Let's see how it works. Seems to work good. All right, so it seems that the Bullfrog Snot has worked pretty well. Like I said before, this engine could not pull even like 2 cars without struggling, and now it seems to be doing just fine with 5. So now I want to see how much we can really pull. So we're gonna get like 10 cars out and see how well that does. All right, we have 10 cars. Let's see how it works. Wrong way. And you left behind the train. All right, let's try again. So definitely a little bit more grouchy doing that, but it does seem to be working just fine. All right, so after doing some more testing, I've determined that this locomotive runs comfortably with about 5 to 6 cars. However, it can pull probably 10 to 13, albeit struggling. So, basically, this was a success. Even though it can't pull a ton, I would still say I'm happy with this. I think this is a pretty neat locomotive. If you're into just, locomotives for fun, or just European stuff, or just classic models, this is a great pick because this locomotive is just very nicely built. I'm going to be honest with you. Even though it's a pancake motor, it's a nice quality one. The finish on all the parts is pretty nice. It's an overall well-constructed machine. The faults really lie in the engineering. There should be 2 powered trucks. Every single axle should be powered, and there should be more weight. And if that was the case, this would be a fantastic runner, but unfortunately that is not the case. So, you can only get so much out of, a Lima locomotive. And, this is a toy, so you can't expect that much out of it, but honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. So, if you guys see this at a train show, I wouldn't pay more than like $25 for it, because it's not worth much more than that, but it definitely is a fun time. It's a nice locomotive, it's nicely made, it'll probably last you a while. Just make sure it has those traction tires, or that you buy some Bullfrog Snot so that you can fix those lack of traction tires. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this restoration video. I sure did, because now I have a cool locomotive that is not going to sit on a shelf collecting dust. Make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe if you even want to. And yeah, I'm just going to leave you some running clips, and peace. Peace out.
Oh, the year was 1778. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. A letter of marque came from the king to the scummiest vessel I've ever seen. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Oh, well, said Barrett, cried the town, how I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. For 20 brave men, all fishermen, who would make for him the Antelope's crew. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. The Antelope sloop was a sickening sight. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. She'd a list to the port and her sails in rags, and the cook in the scuppers with the staggers and jags. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold.